Since we had our first sailings in Seven Kings from the days it was launched, Derek Williams could see the great advantage it would be if we could have a sea training base in Lulling Creek, where the troop would be able to have seamanship training in a more practical manner and boat work with our small boats and dinghies better organised for sea activities. A suggestion was considered and a final decision was to build a prefabricated construction built on floats which would form our sea base headquarters. The work started during March and April 1971 with the building of the frames and the joists prefabricated at Hargreaves Scout campsite during the week, while the building of the floats took place during the weekends at the boatyard. The floats are under construction on the slipway of the boatyard, and timber framing was Iroka, panelled with half-inch marine plywood, glued and fixed in position. These floats had a total length of 52 feet long by 4 feet wide by 2 feet high and are being assembled. After this is completed, we then fix the bottoms. That's the troop coach, which is used to convey the boys back and forward to the boatyard from Hargreaves. Now, all during the construction of the frames, building continued, as we had to be certain it was completely painted before launching. It was very important that we completed on time so that we were clear of the slipway by Easter to enable the boatyard to start to launch their other boats for the season. We completed the work on time and there was no hold-up with the boatyard programme. Now you can see the longitudinal frames which have come down from Hargreaves. They are going to tie the floats together and so form the deck area. The deck area had a length of 52 feet by 23 feet wide, on which would be built the prefabricated headquarters building. The building would measure 30 feet by 17 feet. These joists are all held in position on housing joints, and the boys have been trained in making proper joints and woodwork. It's a necessity for practical Sea Scouts. Now they're fitting longitudinal stiffeners between the frames to ensure rigid construction. This is a view underneath. When we started building the building, this period was during the Easter school holidays. Unfortunately, I couldn't always be present because I was working. And so the film does not have a continuity, but it does show the general work carried out. The painting still goes on. These are cutting the side panels to fit around the building. They've all been painted on the inside, finished. You'll see the cantilever frames which form the building. They were made at Hargreaves. They're complete box construction and very strong. More mortise and tenon joints, all jointed, bolted and screwed when necessary. The portable tools, that's all troop property. And the boys are all taught and capable and able to handle them themselves, under guidance and supervision. You see the float now, it's on 2 slipways. I'm going to be in a position ready for the launching in due course. The window frames are going in now. The top panels above the windows. Derek Williams is always supervising, ensuring a high standard of workmanship. Derek Williams is a troop scouter, or skipper as we call him. This is more work happening underneath, but these boys were putting in and preparing equipment ready to take the joists from the cradles, which would eventually launch the whole sea base. These are the joists. They're going right under the floats now. They've been pulled through. See the 2 cradles. Now you see our float. I think from these pictures you can see just how magnificent this thing is going to look. It's still not finished, there's a lot of work to do yet. One of the main things will be the handrail, but that is still being produced, but won't be available yet for a week or 2. Now we're on the water, and the number of boys which are there can be partially split to give some lads an opportunity to use the boats while others work and then change round in due course. Sailing dinghies, they belong to the troop. They're the Royal Navy bosun dinghies. We bought them, quite expensive, but they're a good construction and very hardy. The boats actually have moorings in the area around the sea base. You'll notice the sea base at low water actually rests on the mud. This gives us an opportunity to do general inspections frequently, and then any repairs which could be necessary could be carried out. We have quite a fleet of boats between canoes, pulling boats, dinghies, motorboats, launches, and of course the bosun dinghies. Now you'll notice the yacht is dressed all over. This is because the parents are going to visit today. At the moment the launches are going down to the yard slipway to pick them up and bring them up to the sea base. Many of the parents have never seen all this since the days we built it. Some haven't even seen the yacht, so today is quite a big day. This is down at the boatyard slipway, getting the parents on board the launch. There are 3 launches in operation. We have 2, Big Champ, which is 18 feet, that one which is 14 feet, and we're also using the boatyard launch. This at the moment is making up some temporary seats type of things on the deck where the parents can sit. We've got a very good vantage point from there. That's the boatyard launch, bringing up another load of parents. That's Champ. That's an 18-foot launch. That was just bought by the troop this year, that year. You'll notice the guardrail hasn't been fitted, but it will be in due course. The parents enjoying the sea breezes, relaxing, watching the boys at work in the boats. That's the gig. The gigs, that particular style of gig, is built specifically for Sea Scouts. It's not as big as a naval whaler and is better and more easily handled. This is Doug Montford coming over on the yacht dinghy. If you notice the ensign is not just a red ensign. It's a red ensign for Sea Scouts who are recognised by the Royal Navy. There's only a number of troops up and down the country who are recognised, and we are one of them. The ensign has a Scout badge superimposed on it with the naval crown, signifying that we are Royal Navy recognised Sea Scouts. Now, here the boys are having a little game. They're taking the dinghies and fighting the boys in the yacht by throwing bags of water at them, and every bag that hits a boy or lands in the boat counts a point. The yacht brought out the fire hose, but that wasn't counted towards the points. It gave the parents an idea just how the boys are progressing with their sailing and boating. And this is them on top of the sea base, having a good vantage point, seeing what's going on. Now the games are over and the yacht is returning to its mooring. And also the parents are preparing to board the launches for returning to the slipway, making their way home. It's been a very good day. They're towing the gig down with another load of parents on it. Now, here we are back at work again. This is a bridge deck which we're going to build on top of the sea base roof. We think it's going to be a good thing for training, and it is also a good observation point to see from sea base. These are joists being fixed to the deck at the moment, and to them will be then mounted the frames. Inside the cabin of the sea base was an excellent workshop, and we could prepare the frames there, making them ready for fixing above. These are the roof panels being painted before they're fitted on top. Quite good joints, I would say. Quite good. This has only been done during weekends when we're going down to Lolling Creek. Now I think you can begin to see what this construction is going to look like eventually when it's all finished. Sometimes we had to take long lines down to the boatyard and have them ripped up at the saw there. And this is what was happening just at the moment. But from then now, we've come back to what's going to be another Parents' Day. They now want to come down and see what all this other building was doing. The troop gig and the 14-foot motor launch. That's the 14-foot again. There's no actual games going to go on at this time. It's just sailing and showing the parents how good they are at it. How good they are at it. Actually, the yacht's coming alongside the sea base because we're going to take the parents out in for a sail up into the Blackwater. That's the gig tying alongside now. Sorry, the yacht. Doug Montford, who's one of the scout troop leaders. This is inside the sea base, and it's equipped for 2 patrols, each with their own galleys, tables and chairs, and other equipment. The interior of the sea base has been completed with workrooms, workshops, toilets, other cabins, and the full basic area. You'll notice that the yacht is now carrying its spinnaker. This is a new one which we just got, and we had to show that off to the parents. Roland House.